10 foods seniors should avoid eating. Did you know that some everyday foods might be silently harming your health as you age? It shocked me too, but it's true. As we grow older, our bodies don't process food the same way they used to. A meal that felt fine in your 30s might now cause bloating, fatigue, or even contribute to serious health risks. That's why understanding what foods to avoid is so important. In this video, I'll share 10 foods seniors should avoid eating and explain exactly how each one may negatively impact your body. Trust me, some of these will surprise you. Of course, it's always best to consult your healthcare provider before making major dietary changes. Don't go anywhere because I'll also reveal 5 foods every senior should include in their diet to stay healthier and happier for longer. Now, let's get started. 1. Spicy foods. Spicy foods might be flavorful and exciting, but for seniors, they may introduce more risks than rewards. Capsaicin, the active compound in chili peppers that gives them their heat, may irritate the stomach's mucosal layer, especially in seniors who may already have a more sensitive digestive system. Over time, this irritation may exacerbate conditions like gastritis or even lead to ulcers. For those who have age-related reductions in stomach acid or who take medications that weaken the stomach lining, such as NSAIDs, spicy foods may amplify discomfort, causing heartburn, indigestion, and persistent acid reflux. Moreover, spicy foods may disrupt sleep patterns, which are already a common concern among seniors. The heat generated by capsaicin increases the body's core temperature, which may make it harder to fall and stay asleep. Additionally, spicy meals consumed close to bedtime are known to trigger acid reflux when lying down, further interrupting restful sleep. For seniors, who often need high-quality sleep to support cognitive function, immune health, and energy levels, this disruption may take a significant toll over time, impacting both their physical and mental well-being. The BMJ reports that regular consumption of spicy foods is associated with reduced total mortality, with those eating spicy foods 6 to 7 days a week showing a 14% lower risk of death compared to less frequent consumers. The inverse relationship was stronger in non-drinkers and observed for deaths from cancer, heart, and respiratory diseases. These findings suggest potential health benefits of spicy food, independent of other risk factors. 2. Refined carbohydrates. Refined carbohydrates like white bread, pastries, and sugary cereals might feel like quick and easy comfort foods, but for seniors, their impact on health goes far beyond their empty calories. These foods, stripped of their natural fiber and nutrients during processing, may silently contribute to a range of issues that often compound with age. Without the fiber that slows digestion, these foods cause rapid spikes in blood sugar levels. While this might give a temporary burst of energy, it's always followed by a sharp crash, leaving you feeling tired and hungry soon after. For seniors, these sugar fluctuations may be particularly harmful as they increase the risk of developing insulin resistance over time. Insulin resistance means the body struggles to manage blood sugar levels, which may escalate into type 2 diabetes, a condition that brings its own host of complications, from nerve damage to impaired wound healing. Furthermore, refined carbohydrates have a negative impact on brain health. Emerging research links high consumption of these foods to an increased risk of cognitive decline. The mechanism here involves chronic inflammation and oxidative stress, both of which are triggered by excessive sugar in the bloodstream. These processes damage neurons and reduce the brain's ability to form new connections, which are essential for memory and learning. For seniors, who are already at risk of age-related cognitive challenges, refined carbs act as a quiet but significant accelerant to these changes. Nutrients reports that while fiber-rich carbs benefit gut health, excessive refined carbohydrate intake harms mental health, increases fatigue, and raises risks of metabolic syndrome and chronic diseases, highlighting the importance of balanced consumption. 3. Processed meats. Processed meats like bacon, sausages, and deli slices might seem harmless or even convenient, but they're packed with ingredients that may take a toll on senior health. Processed meats have a high nitrate content. These nitrates are added as preservatives to keep the meat looking fresh and flavorful, but when they're digested, they may convert into harmful compounds called nitrosamines. These nitrosamines are known to increase the risk of certain cancers, particularly in the digestive tract. For seniors, whose immune systems may already be less robust, this risk is even more significant. Moreover, the saturated fats in processed meats are worth considering. These fats may cause cholesterol levels to spike, leading to plaque buildup in the arteries. This narrows the arteries and restricts blood flow, which may raise the risk of heart disease, a leading cause of death in older adults. Combined, these elements make processed meats a particularly risky choice for seniors, emphasizing the importance of prioritizing fresher, healthier protein options. The American Diabetes Association criticizes red meat consumption, citing strong evidence linking it to chronic diseases. Global recommendations favor reducing meat and increasing plant-based foods for health and environmental benefits. 4. Sugary beverages. When you sip a sugary beverage, your body experiences a sudden spike in blood sugar levels. This causes your pancreas to work overtime, releasing insulin to bring those levels down. Over time, this constant demand on your pancreas may lead to insulin resistance, making it harder for your cells to absorb sugar from your blood. This mechanism doesn't just raise the risk of type 2 diabetes, it may also worsen existing blood sugar issues, leaving seniors feeling tired, sluggish, and prone to more serious complications. Along with that, many of these beverages are loaded with fructose, a type of sugar that the liver processes differently from glucose. When there's too much fructose in your system, your liver turns the excess into fat. This may lead to a condition called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which interferes with your liver's ability to filter toxins. For seniors, this becomes an even greater concern since the liver naturally becomes less efficient with age. Obesity affects billions globally, driving diabetes, heart disease, and $147 billion in US healthcare costs. PubMed links sugar-sweetened beverages to weight gain and chronic disease due to high sugar content, low satiety, and metabolic impacts like inflammation and fat accumulation. 5. Fried foods. Most fried foods are cooked at high temperatures, which causes the formation of harmful compounds known as advanced glycation end products. These compounds aren't just a fancy name, they're a real problem for the body, especially for seniors. Ages may trigger oxidative stress and inflammation, two major contributors to age-related diseases like arthritis and Alzheimer's. Over time, consuming fried foods laden with ages may make existing inflammation worse, leaving joints achy and cognitive health more vulnerable. Then there's the issue of the oil itself, particularly when it's reused. Many fried foods, especially in restaurants or fast food settings, are cooked in oils that are repeatedly heated. This process generates trans fats, which are notorious for their ability to raise LDL cholesterol, the bad kind, and lower HDL cholesterol, the good kind. But it doesn't stop there. Trans fats are also linked to stiffening of the arteries, which increases the risk of cardiovascular issues. For seniors, who are already at a higher risk of heart disease, this creates an unnecessary strain on an aging cardiovascular system. A PubMed meta-analysis found that higher fried food consumption is linked to increased risks of major cardiovascular events, coronary heart disease, and heart failure in a linear dose-response relationship. However, no significant association was found with cardiovascular or all-cause mortality, and potential biases in the original studies should be noted. 6. High-sodium foods. Sodium plays a key role in fluid balance, but when you consume too much, it causes the body to retain excess water. This might sound harmless, but that extra water increases the volume of blood flowing through your blood vessels, which raises your blood pressure. Over time, this constant pressure may weaken the walls of your blood vessels, making them more prone to damage. For seniors, whose cardiovascular systems may already be compromised by age or other conditions, this may significantly elevate the risk of heart attacks, strokes, and other complications. Beyond the cardiovascular strain, high sodium levels also place an immense burden on the kidneys. The kidneys are responsible for filtering excess sodium from the blood, but as we age, kidney function naturally declines. Consuming too much sodium forces the kidneys to work harder, and when they can't keep up, sodium builds up in the bloodstream. This not only worsens fluid retention but may also contribute to kidney damage over time. For seniors, this is particularly concerning because impaired kidney function is already a common issue with aging, and high sodium intake accelerates this decline. A study in the Journal of Clinical Hypertension found that high sodium intake, nearly 3 times the WHO recommendation, contributes to 15% of cardiovascular deaths in Tianjin, China, equating to over 5,200 avoidable deaths annually. Reducing sodium intake to WHO recommended levels could significantly lower cardiovascular mortality. This method of evaluation may be applied to other regions for targeted health interventions. 7. Artificial sweeteners. One of the biggest concerns with artificial sweeteners is how they interfere with the brain's perception of sweetness and reward. When you consume something sweetened with artificial compounds like aspartame or sucralose, your brain expects a surge of energy, as it would from natural sugar. But since these sweeteners don't provide any real calories, the brain is left unsatisfied. This may lead to increased cravings for sugary or calorie-dense foods, making it harder for seniors to manage their diet and weight. Over time, this disconnect between sweetness and energy may disrupt appetite regulation, contributing to overeating and the potential for weight gain, which may exacerbate age-related conditions like joint strain or cardiovascular issues. Moreover, artificial sweeteners have been linked to potential metabolic disruptions, particularly in how the body processes glucose. Regular consumption of these sweeteners may lead to reduced insulin sensitivity. This means that even though they're marketed as safe for blood sugar management, they could actually make it harder for the body to regulate glucose levels effectively. For seniors who are already at a higher risk for type 2 diabetes or managing pre-existing blood sugar issues, this may create a vicious cycle that undermines their overall health goals. A review in Curious highlights that artificial sweeteners, while low in calories, are linked to gastrointestinal effects, neurological symptoms like headaches, and potential associations with cardiovascular risk and diabetes. However, most studies show no clear link between artificial sweeteners and cancer. Further research is needed to better understand their overall impact on health. 8. Alcohol. As we get older, the body's natural sense of balance becomes less reliable, and alcohol only makes things worse. Alcohol acts as a depressant on the central nervous system, slowing down reflexes and impairing motor skills. For seniors, this may dramatically increase the risk of falls, which are already a leading cause of injury among older adults. A single fall may lead to fractures, long hospital stays, or even permanent mobility issues, making alcohol a hidden hazard in this sense. Apart from that, alcohol is notorious for its dehydrating effects, which may have a domino effect on various bodily systems. Alcohol acts as a diuretic, encouraging the body to expel more fluids than it takes in. Dehydration might seem minor at first, but in seniors, it may lead to serious complications like kidney strain, electrolyte imbalances, and worsened cognitive function. For individuals already managing age-related issues like reduced kidney function or mild cognitive decline, alcohol compounds these problems, making recovery slower and the risk of chronic complications higher. Alcohol research and health highlights alcohol as a major global health risk, with heavy and binge drinking leading to illness, injury, and mortality. While moderate intake may benefit some conditions, excessive consumption accounts for most harm, influencing drinking guidelines and emphasizing its social impact. 9. Raw or undercooked eggs and meats. The most immediate and dangerous concern with raw or undercooked eggs and meats is the potential for foodborne illnesses, particularly from bacteria like Salmonella and E. coli. These pathogens are invisible, but their effects may be devastating. When consumed, they may lead to severe gastrointestinal infections, causing symptoms like intense diarrhea, vomiting, and abdominal pain. For seniors, whose immune systems naturally weaken with age, these infections are far more than a temporary inconvenience. They may escalate quickly into life-threatening conditions like sepsis or dehydration. The body's ability to fight off these infections diminishes over time, leaving older adults more vulnerable to complications. Moreover, there's the risk of long-term damage to the kidneys caused by the toxins some bacteria produce. For example, certain strains of E. coli may release a toxin called Shiga toxin, which may lead to a condition called hemolytic uremic syndrome. It causes damage to the small blood vessels in the kidneys, potentially leading to acute kidney failure. Seniors whose kidneys are already less efficient due to aging are particularly at risk of severe and irreversible damage from such complications. The impact on kidney function may reduce the body's ability to filter waste, regulate blood pressure, and maintain a proper electrolyte balance. ResearchGate highlights that adults aged 60+ face higher risks of complications and death from foodborne infections linked to consuming risky foods like raw or undercooked meat, poultry, seafood, and eggs. A study found that age, race or ethnicity, education, and perceptions of food safety predict risky food consumption. Targeted education for older adults may help reduce foodborne illnesses. 10. High-fat dairy products. High-fat dairy products like whole milk, butter, and certain cheeses might feel like comforting staples, but for seniors, they may have hidden health risks due to high saturated fats. Saturated fats are known to increase levels of LDL cholesterol, often referred to as bad cholesterol, which may lead to plaque buildup in the arteries. For seniors, this is especially problematic because arterial stiffness and reduced circulation are already common with age. Over time, the combination of these factors may heighten the risk of atherosclerosis, heart attacks, and strokes. What seems like a simple pat of butter or a slice of rich cheese could be contributing to long-term cardiovascular strain that's entirely preventable. Another issue with high-fat dairy is its calorie density, which may make it easy to consume excess calories without realizing it. For seniors with a slower metabolism, these extra calories may lead to gradual weight gain, particularly around the midsection. This isn't just about appearance. Excess abdominal fat is linked to increased inflammation and higher risks of metabolic syndrome. For older adults, even a small amount of extra weight may place added strain on joints, making mobility more difficult and worsening conditions like arthritis. PubMed reports that dairy consumption is linked to lower risks of overweight, hypertension, and type 2 diabetes. The risk of obesity goes down linearly with dairy, milk, and yogurt. For example, yogurt lowers the risk of diabetes by 7% for every 50 grams eaten every day. Low-fat dairy and milk lower hypertension risk non-linearly. These findings highlight milk and yogurt as key contributors to reducing chronic disease risks. Moving on, let's discuss 5 foods that should be on every senior's diet. As we get older, the foods we eat play a huge role in how we feel every single day. I know it may feel overwhelming trying to figure out what's truly good for you, but don't worry, I've got you covered. Now, I'll share 5 must-have foods that are not just delicious but also packed with benefits tailored to support your body as it ages. 1. Fatty fish. These fish are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which are like gold for your brain and heart. They help reduce inflammation, improve memory, and lower your risk of heart disease. Plus, they're a fantastic source of vitamin D, which is essential for maintaining strong bones and preventing osteoporosis. 2. Leafy greens. Packed with nutrients like vitamin K, calcium, and antioxidants, leafy greens help keep your bones strong and your brain sharp. They also support healthy eyesight thanks to lutein and zeaxanthin, 2 nutrients that protect against age-related macular degeneration. 3. Nuts and seeds. These tiny powerhouses are loaded with healthy fats, fiber, and antioxidants. Walnuts, in particular, are great for improving cognitive health, while flaxseeds and chia seeds provide plant-based omega-3s that support your heart and reduce inflammation. 4. Berries. Berries are rich in antioxidants that help fight oxidative stress and inflammation, which are key contributors to aging. They're also high in fiber, which aids digestion and helps regulate blood sugar levels. It is perfect for seniors managing diabetes or looking to maintain steady energy. 5. Legumes. Legumes are a fantastic source of plant-based protein, fiber, and essential minerals like magnesium and potassium. They support heart health, improve digestion, and help maintain muscle mass, which is crucial as we age. It's surprising how much what we eat may affect our health, especially as we get older. The foods we choose may either support our bodies or make things harder without us even realizing it. This is why knowing what to avoid is so important. But this is just one part of the story. Remember, it's all about giving your body what it needs to thrive, not just survive. Today, we learned about all the foods seniors should avoid. But did you know that there are many foods that may help us deal with different health issues? Want to find out more? Drink clove tea every day for 1 week, see what happens to your body. Or watch 11 collagen-rich foods to boost youthful skin. You may watch either or both of them. Do you know any other foods that seniors should avoid? Let us know in the comments section below.